I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. We're opening. We are here to open. We desire to open. And so we shall open. This I know, this I say, this I affirm, because this is the day. I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Susan Neat. I'm a practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living Princeton, and welcome. We are a loving, healing, inclusive community that teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the spiritual growth and well-being of ourselves and the world. So thank you all for coming, that we could be here, 2 or more gathered in its name. So I just had this idea as I was sitting there. If we could all just put our hands in prayer position and acknowledge a few people and simply say thank you to them. Look in their eyes and say thank you. Because without them, we couldn't be here, 2 or more gathered in its name. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I have a few announcements. Next week, we have Blessed Reverend Michelle Wadley coming to be our guest speaker. And her talk is called Tax Day. I know, right? So, we all must pay the tax man, woman, person. But who is the tax person? And how we may pay might be a bit of a surprise to you. When you ask yourself, how much is my happiness worth? The answer might surprise you. Well, I think we should all be there because that sounds very interesting. And then the week after that, Blessed Reverend Karen will be back to give a talk. And on May 12th, put it in your calendars, because our blessed and lovely practitioner, Mary, will be moving to Arizona. And we are having a send-off party for her.
Are we all going to Arizona with her?
We're all going to Arizona with her. We're going to have a lovely luncheon after service that day on her behalf. So see you then. Enjoy.
We'll be raising Arizona.
Sorry, I'm having some massive tuning problems here. I don't know why.
Maybe it's the poltergeist.
Huh?
Maybe it's the poltergeist.
It's the weather.
Oh, yeah.
They are here.
So I'm not going to play it. Tap. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leafy green spirits of trees and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is infinite, which is natural, which is yes. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping green spirits of trees and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping green spirits of trees and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes, which is yes, which is yes.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday and welcome again to this glorious, amazing day. I'm Damaris Otero-Torres. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the center. And I don't know about you, but I had a very interesting week. So as I was contemplating what would be the topic of my duties here as practitioner, I said to myself, what do I do when I am confronted with interesting experiences, right? Do you say my present world is heaven, for my thought is centered in God? Is that the first place you go to? Or I am one with the divine intelligence? Or I am always protected, for I am one with God? Is that the first place we go to? Most likely not. And I'll speak for myself, I tend to go on a wild race. My thoughts are all over the place. But and that is also probably your case, it doesn't take us long to step out of it. And what could take hours, days, weeks, years, decades, in my case, and I hope it's in your case, it's usually solved in minutes. Or I can say, I can go to another place. I can choose to step out of this wild ride and go to that place where I know that I am one with God. Where I know that I am fully protected at all times. And interestingly enough, the highlight of this week for me was before I was meditating one day, as I was reading, getting ready for my daily meditation, I came to this phrase that I love to love with the love of God. I love to love with the love of God. It occurred to me that it would be a phrase that I could adjust to whenever I am feeling attacked or I have one of those interesting experiences that I started talking about. So I'm going to invite you to think of 5 different challenges that you may have experienced this week. Don't make them pretty. Challenges are challenges. Problems are problems. So whatever 5 situations that you wish you had not experienced this week. And how about adapting that phrase to help you navigate through a specific situation? If someone is venting their grievances against you, how about if you say to yourself, I love to listen with the love of God. I love to think with the love of God. I love to speak with the love of God. I love to act with the love of God. I love to breathe with the love of God. I love to stand still with the love of God. So I invite you to close your eyes and listen to these words. God's presence in me looks out through my eyes and sees his own glory about me. My world is alive with beauty, for love is established everywhere I stand. Nothing but God surrounds me. Nothing but spirit acts through me. And nothing but constructive words speak from me. My present experience is alive with God, and my future is secure. For as the psalmist reminds us, I live in green pastures, now and forevermore. So in that consciousness, I invite you to stay in that place where only love is present, where only love is real. When there's always the alternative to move to that center that knows that God is in the midst of each one's being, that there's only an infinite mind that is always, always, always inviting us to live in that place where God is, where there's only the law of goodness, of love, of perfect balance, of wholeness surrounding us, inviting us to know that God is all there is. And in that presence, in that space, all is well. I know this is the truth. I release this word to the law, knowing that love conquers all. And so it is.
So,
Amen.
when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. The one and only Jon Heron.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here today. I'm Jon Heron, and I am a practitioner here at this center, as most of you know. And today's my turn to get an opportunity to be with everybody and sort of create the focus for our consciousness of the presence of the divine, of the presence of love, of the presence of the universe. And thank you, Damaris. Perfect introduction, as always happens, right? And just to let you know, the way I think of this is, so here I am standing up here talking. This is us together in whatever each of us understands of the divine, of spirit, all of us together. I just get to be the focus today. And it's a special day. It's Ernest Holmes' birthday.
Oh.
Here's a statement. It's funny because I was reading something this week in the textbook, and I thought, I like that. Let's make that an affirmation for the day from Ernest Holmes. The time is now, the place is where we are, and it is done unto us as we believe. Right? The time is now. The place is where we are, and it is done unto us as we believe. So I wanted to, there's a story that's been very much in my mind. I heard this several years ago. I used to take a class from Dr. Tom Sanar, who was a retired minister, CSL minister. He made his transition about a year ago. And his classes used to be really interesting because every week he would bring pages and pages of documentation that he did. He had been a lawyer earlier in his life and all that stuff, so he used to write stuff, right? Every week I have all these documents, and this year I decided I'm going to start going over this documentation because there's a lot of great stuff. He was a very clear about what this teaching meant. And he told this story, which he called the building of the mind. Now, usually when I tell a story, I just tell it, right? There's a lot of details in here, so I'm going to refer to my notes or I'm going to miss stuff. I'm going to tell it to you, not as John, as a different character. Yeah, me. I'm Harry. Nice to see you all. Well, it's good that we're all here together today. So I want to tell you, I live in this building, and I live on the first floor of the building. I didn't know there is anything more than the first floor, and all kinds of stuff happens. So I moved into this building. The first thing that happens, it's like October and the first cold day of the year, and I get home, and the heating isn't working. Now, I didn't know there was a problem with the heating. They didn't tell me that when I moved in. So I called the heating company, and they send this woman over, and she looks at it, and she says, oh, I can fix this. It's going to cost you a lot of money. And I'm thinking, oh, stuff is happening in my home. And since stuff is happening in my home, I got to take care of it. I mean, I had just gotten a new job, right? So I was making a little bit more money, but the money was going out to fixing the heating. Anyway, she fixed the heating. Next day I got home. It was nice and toasty at home. I went to wash my hands, and there's no water. So I got to call the plumber. And the plumber comes, and he says, oh, I can fix this. This is easy. It's going to cost you a lot of money, though. I think, what's all this stuff happening to me in my new home? That's what my life is like. All this stuff is always happening to me. And so I was sort of depressed. I went out and I decided I need a new piece of furniture to make me happy. And I bought a new couch. And the next day I got home, and the cat got my couch. Ripped. Big rip in the couch. And I just sat down and I was depressed and I fell asleep. And as I fell asleep, I had a dream. I saw a light. And in the light, this elderly woman came out of the light, and she said, I am the guide of the building of your mind. Would you like to see the rest of this building? And I went, what do you mean rest? It's a small place. It's one floor. What is it? She said, oh no, I can show you the second floor. I said, there ain't no second floor. There's just one floor here. She said, I guess you don't have a lot of curiosity because you haven't explored your environment. Okay, how do we get to the second floor? She says, oh, we take the elevator. Elevator? There ain't no elevator in this place. She said, oh, yes, there is. It's like prayer. That's why it's called a lift. It lifts you to the next level. So, okay, I follow her, and we get into an elevator. I didn't know there was one. And we get to the second floor, and it's like a big warehouse. And it has all the ideas behind all the stuff that's happening to me on the first floor. And all sorts of ideas are stored there. And I start walking around and examining all these ideas. And I find out that whatever idea I focus on appears on the first floor as stuff. This is where all the stuff is coming from. I mean, all this time, I've been accepting all this stuff because I didn't know I had any choice. Right? And so I'm looking around and I'm starting to realize, wait a minute. I was just suffering on the first floor thinking of myself as a victim. And all this time, I actually had a choice. But I didn't know. So now, I realize, wow, I can take the elevator, using the elevator of prayer, anytime I want, and go up to the second floor and pick the stuff that I want. And I can have the stuff on the first floor that I really want, instead of the stuff I don't want. So I'm looking around, and I'm focusing on things, and I'm realizing, ooh, this is what's going to show up on the first floor when I get home. This is great. I love this. And then she says to me, what about the third floor? Do you want to see it? The elevator can take you there if you have a deep desire to see it. A third floor? What could possibly be on the third floor? I mean, all the stuff I need is right here in the ideas on the second floor, and I can choose whatever I want, and I'll have a great life on the first floor. All the stuff I want. And she said, there is more. So we step on the elevator of prayer, and it lifts us to the third floor. And the third floor is this huge empty room. And I said to her, why isn't there anything here? It's just empty. And she said, because this is the floor of unlimited potential. It's empty because it's unlimited. If it was full, there wouldn't be any room for the new, because everything new is created here on the third floor. This is where all creation begins. And if you become very quiet and you listen very intently with all your senses, here on the third floor, you can hear the hum of the universe. And when you align with it, you will hear exactly what you need to know. So I stepped out onto the third floor, and I started listening to the silence. And quietly behind me, she said, there's one more thing on the third floor, but you can't see it. It is the pattern of perfection contained in everything created here. The wholeness and harmony of the universe is here. All creations from pure spirit have the pattern of innate wholeness in them. The wholeness is in everything. Now, you could take what you've learned on the third floor to the second floor, and from the second floor, you can make choices, and those will be delivered into your life on the first floor. So I asked her, but I'm not getting it. What's the difference between the second floor and the third floor? The second floor is the warehouse of all the ideas that have already been created. The third floor contains all the ideas that are yet to be created. It's infinite potential. There are actually 3 creations of everything. The first creation is from the third floor. Creations from pure spirit. The second creation happens on the second floor. These are ideas that came from the third floor, as well as ideas that you and other people thought up when you were on the first floor. The third creation occurs on the first floor when you see all the stuff. So this is the building of your mind. All of this is in you. All these floors. Wait a minute, I said to her, I didn't know I was storing ideas for the second floor while I was living on the first floor. I didn't even know there were other people living with me. I didn't know that the second floor existed, and I certainly didn't know about the elevator. And she said, ignorance is no excuse. The laws of the universe exist. If you open yourself up to them, they open themselves up to you. Because God is infinite, yes. The universe is infinite, yes. Always yes. Simply waiting for you to say yes back. So the elevator and the floor and the second floor and the third floor and all of it have always been here. It comes with the building. I can't help it if the real estate person didn't tell you about it when you moved in. I thought you would have seen it from the street. Oh, street? What street? Oh, that's another story, said the guide as she began to vanish into the light. Oh, wait a minute. Don't go yet, I said. I'm confused. Now I don't know which floor to live on. And as she vanished from my sight, I heard her say, live on all 3. Use the elevator. So that's the story that Dr. Tom Sadnar told. This wonderful way of expressing this truth of our teaching. And I'll tell you, I'm part of a practitioners group online, and we had a serious discussion of the meaning of this story. Because there are a lot of things about it, the way of thinking about it. And the biggest question for me is, what do you mean live on all 3 floors? I'm asking us here in this room, what does that mean to you? I can tell you, I've thought a lot about that, because I used to be part of a spiritual group before I came here and started practicing this teaching. Where basically the teaching was we're supposed to be living on the 3rd floor. And that if you weren't, you were doing something wrong. Or at least that's the way I received it. Eventually I left that teaching because I found I couldn't stay on the 3rd floor. Right? Stuff happens. There are times still that I wake up in the morning and I think of myself as a victim. I'm in that victim consciousness. Why is this happening? Why is this stuff happening to me? And this story, for me, what it means to live on all 3 floors, and you may have a different explanation of this. For me, what it means is, it's not that the first floor goes away, it's not that the second floor goes away, it's not that I'm supposed to live on the 3rd floor. It's that whatever floor we're living on, spirit, truth, is always present. I find for myself that when I find out, there are mornings I wake up and it's like, oh boy, am I in victimhood. Now, part of my mind goes, wait a minute, I do all this spiritual practice and I treat and I meditate and I'm not supposed to feel like a victim. Well, I think what I'm understanding is, and it's where I am in my spiritual growth, right? Maybe this is part of the world, at least it's part of my world. But what I'm noticing is, the more I focus on my spiritual practice, I do my spiritual mind treatment, I do my meditation and other things, the quicker that part of my brain is aware, part of my mind is aware. Oh, today I'm doing a victim thing. Okay. And then I use this Emma Curtis Hopkins statement. You all know who Emma Curtis Hopkins was, right? This too is good. This too is God. This too is for me. And I now open to the blessing that I know is present. Right? So, to me, that's what it means to live on all three floors. Wherever I am, I try in my spiritual practice to make sure to take the elevator, right? To be uplifted, to do treatment, and to try to understand, by the way, the deeper meaning of treatment. It's a very deep practice. I think a lot of us, myself included, we learned step 1, we learned step 2, blah, 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 right? And most of us know what those things are, or have a sense of what those things are. There is more there. The whole universe for us is present in those first 2 steps. That's what step 1 is about. Allowing yourself to think of the highest truth that you know. Not somebody else knows, not that the book says, but the highest truth that you know, because each one of us is the presence of the divine fully, right now. The time is now, the place is where we are, and it is done to us as we believe. So more and more I'm understanding why it's so important to do spiritual practice, right? Science of Mind will tell you the core spiritual practice is spiritual mind treatment. And for me, that's a really important practice. And I've taken to Dr. Tom Sanar has this wonderful document called Absolute Treatment. He taught treatment in a particular way. And he talks about those first 2 steps. The first step being the highest thought that you can have of what this universe is, of what our world is. Separate from the stuff that we get on the first floor. Separate from the specific thoughts. What's your highest idea of God, if you like the word God, or the universe, or spirit? This is a good time, by the way, instead of just listening to me, if that's what you're doing, to listen to yourself. What is your highest idea of what spirit is? Allow yourself to go there right now. Let your inner guide, the old wise woman who lives in you, be present. Let that become clearer. Your deepest, truest understanding of the highest truth. And know right here and now, you are embodying it at this moment. You couldn't think of it if it didn't live in you. Right? There's the first 2 steps of treatment. What's the highest truth? And knowing that you're at one with that truth. From that place, you can create anything you want. Not that you're getting something, but because you are one with the all is possible for you. What do you choose? What floor do you choose to live on? How do you choose to respond to the stuff that happens in the universe? So this is, I think, a really wonderful thing. Now, there's some specifics again about this story. Let me go back to the story. That wise woman is the personification of that which lives in you and is constantly ready to talk to you, to be clear to you. It's the yes that is waiting for you to say yes back, right? So a wonderful spiritual practice, something that I do regularly, is just listening. Ernest Holmes said that when you find yourself in a place of conflict, become still and listen. All the love there is. That's what he says. All the love there is right here, right now, within you. And all you need to do is to say yes. Start listening, right? The more you listen, the more you hear. And this is not listening with your ears, right? We all understand that. This is listening with every sense and every bit of your consciousness. Listening within. I find that is one of the most humbling practices there is. Because, right, when I start doing it, takes me a few minutes sometimes that I realize, oh no, I'm listening to my own thoughts. I'm not listening to my inner guide. And I have to let go of my own thoughts and realize, no, I don't know what I don't know. There is something beyond what I already know. And I'm in a place of humility just saying, I'm listening, right? That's a practice. It's a lifelong practice. Because, as Reverend Karen once said to me, we're dealing with the infinite. There is no end to it. And the other thing, by the way, in this story is that on the 3rd floor, there's no roof. It's open at the top. Because there is no limit to it. So, this is the story of the building of the mind. And I hope that what you'll do, like myself, I think a lot about that question of what do we mean by living on all 3 floors? Is there more there that I'm not understanding yet about living in this physical world, in the world of the mind, and the world of the spirit, living on all 3? So with that in mind, I hope that you take that into your life, apply it to your own spiritual practice, whatever that is. One other thing that strikes me here, I'm more and more thinking how precious each one of us is as the embodiment of spirit, as the embodiment of the highest truth, right? And how important it is for each one of us to find out who we are and then be that from the highest place that we can. So, thank you very much for allowing me to share that story. I love that story. It really makes me think, and I think that's an important part of our spiritual life. Let those thoughts become part of your life. Think about them.
That was great, John. Thank you. Nothing like a good story, huh? Right. Nothing like finding your part there. So anyway. More love, more love. The angels are calling. The angels are calling. Hosanna, more love. More love, more love. The angels are calling. The angels are calling, Hosanna, more joy, more joy. The angels are calling, the angels are calling, Hosanna, more joy, more joy, more joy. The angels are calling, the angels are calling, Hosanna, more joy. More peace, more peace. The angels are calling, the angels are calling, Hosanna, more peace, more peace, more peace. The angels are calling, the angels are calling, Hosanna, more peace.
As Reverend Rick said, there's nothing like a good story. So I hope that with your gifts, you help us spread this word and continue sharing stories with you. Like John said, the universe is infinite. We have to remember that. And we have to remember that we operate in a law of circulation. Because as Ernest Hall reminds us, everything in nature moves in circles. What goes out must come back. Unless the seed is sown, it cannot bear fruit. There must be a planting time for every harvest. Those who give all receive all. Let me repeat that. Those who give all receive all. Those who refuse to give limit the possibility of the greater good returning to them. Love, and you will be loved. Extend joy, and you will become more joyful. I want to remind everyone that divine love flowing through me blesses and increases everything that I have, that I give, and that I receive. So if you want to donate, for those out there in the cyber space, you can send your donations or your gifts to cslprinceton.org. Thank you very much.
Grateful, 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 yes, I'm grateful, 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 grateful for abundance, grateful, yes, I'm grateful, grateful for the guidance, grateful for the guidance, grateful, yes, I'm grateful, grateful for the message, grateful for the message, grateful, yes, I'm grateful, 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 yes, I'm grateful, 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 yes, I'm grateful.
Can we do a closing treatment?
Sure. So, letting our consciousness rise to the third floor, getting on that elevator, and moving through the levels and being ready to say yes to that which awaits us, to that which creates, that which is on that third floor. And knowing that this message that has been brought forth today, that Jon was inspired to bring forth this wonderful story and to teach this wonderful lesson. And I know for each one of us here that we are fully able to incorporate that lesson into our daily lives so that when those things happen, we can let our consciousness rise, jump on the elevator, push the second floor, push the third floor, and get going with saying yes. So I bless the abundance that has been demonstrated here. I bless every part of this collection, the physical collection and the spiritual collection, because we do pay in spiritual coin. And that spiritual coin is ever giving and ever available to us. So I invite you to join me in giving thanks to that which dwells within us, to that wonderful voice, to that wise woman that gives us guidance, and to invite you to join me in releasing this thing, releasing this wonderful meeting of the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton, and letting it go and saying, and so it is. I said, amen.